Hello, 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 everybody. So, we are back for Sister Wives. And listen, we are back for season 19, episode 1, A House Divided Cannot Stand. Listen, this episode is very interesting to watch. I'll say that. And before we get started, they do start the episode with like a brief message about Garrison, and because this whole season was filmed way back. Like, we're literally watching like 2 years ago. So this happened before Garrison passed. And so I just want to give you that little heads up. I'm sure y'all have already watched it by now, but it's just that sad little reminder of, what happened. And I'm glad that they are giving us that respectful moment where we can kind of honor his memory, and then we get into it so it's not like jarring if we see him or something like that. So before the episode gets started as well, they also give us this flashback of, previously on Sister Wives, kind of reminding us what's been going on. It's just your basic stuff. You got Meri talking about how she deserves for her story to be told. And it's like, girl, okay. And Christine saying she is a huge fan of divorce, which, girl, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. They show Janelle and Kody's fight. And oh my God. When she told that man, F you, girl, listen, my heart was ablaze. But the Robyn scene that they showed, I swear to God, I just love laughing at that lady. Because Robyn, the porch is like, the porch is like legendary at this point. She wanted to sit on the porch where her sister was. Robyn does this thing where she like, I don't know how to say that word. Infantis. Anyway, it's like she acts like a child. She's like, I don't understand. And it's like, Robyn, what are you talking about? You don't understand. She genuinely acts like she's a little girl who's in the midst of her parents' divorce. I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't know if she genuinely is just not swift and she just doesn't understand. I can't figure it out. Me personally, I can't figure it out. So it's fun to go back and watch. I'm not even gonna lie. So the actual intro to the show is, pretty much part of the course, but they do use new pictures, and oh my God, I have to say this. I've got to say this, and y'all are gonna be so mad at me because I feel like y'all are gonna be like, Galen, be for real here, but even Robyn and Kody look good in these opening pictures. Like, in the pictures that they use for their intros, I promise you, even Robyn and Kody look good. I don't know what kind of Photoshop they use. I don't know what kind of, like, master manipulation is going on. I don't know. But what I do know is that, like, I looked at the picture and I was like, oh my God, Robyn looks gorgeous. That was my first thought. Robyn looks gorgeous. I've never used that word for her. And my first thought, the first words when I saw that picture was, Robyn looks gorgeous. Of course we know Christine and Janelle are going to be beautiful. We know that. Janelle specifically. My God, today Janelle looked beautiful. Meri looked good for Meri. Like, baby, I don't know. They had that in their contracts. They had to put that in their contracts that you are not going to have us on here looking any kind of way. And you know what? I have to stand. Because if I'm going to be on here, then yes, you're going to make me look good too. And then literally within a few minutes of the opening scene, where I just said that, where I just complimented them, Kody is back on his foolishness. Kody is basically making himself the victim, and he is talking about how he doesn't talk to Christine. He and Janelle are separated. And then Meri is the most interesting one because he's like, do we say we're divorced? No, but we're not in a marriage, and I don't want to be in a... What? This is the kind of stuff Kody does. Kody gaslights, and I know that this is too soon in this episode to say gaslights, but the way that he phrases things, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like you can actually say you feel anything because of the way he tries to word things. It's like if Meri were to come up and say like, oh, we're divorced, he'd be like, no, Meri, we're not divorced. Stop saying that, Meri. So he could throw it back in her face so he can still have that ownership over her. I don't know. It's too early in the episode. It's literally too early. It is not even 5 minutes in, including the preview. Like, including the preview and including the opening credits. It is not even 5 minutes into this episode. We're at Coyote Pass. He and Robyn have pulled up in their Nissan, whatever this is. It might be an Armada. I'm not 100% sure. And we're just looking around and listening to Kody talk about how his family is broken. So while we're at Coyote Pass, we're basically talking about how, like, Coyote Pass is, like, set up financially. So when Christine left, she sold her house, she took the money from that, and she just gave Coyote Pass, like, her part of it over to everyone else. Which I think is smart. Like, girl, I don't have time. I don't have time to be sitting here playing with y'all like that. I don't have time to be sitting here trying to figure out which way. Nope, I ain't got time for it. So I respect the fact that she did that. It is interesting the way Kody puts it, because the way Kody says it is like, oh, the house that the family basically bought her. Stop trying to put ownership over that woman. He still is trying to do it. He is still trying to put, like, some sort of ownership over her and say, like, well, we did this for her. Like, basically saying, like, she wouldn't be able to have what she has if it wasn't for us. Kody, shut up. I'm surprised he didn't try to, like, sue her for that, like, part of that house. I don't know. I could see Kody doing something like that, and it makes me sick to think about. And they're talking about still building. Like, of course, Robyn and Kody want to still build on the land. But Robyn, again, here we go with this sort of childishness that she is trying to portray. And she's like, well, Meri might still build out here. And even Kody is like, what? Girl, what? And Robyn is fully dedicated to this idea that, for whatever reason, Meri is going to want to live out there on that land with them. Robyn, let's be for real here. You know, previously I had kind of gotten to where I was feeling more and more, not impressed, but entertained by Robyn, because I could tell she was clearly playing the game. You know what I mean? Like, she's clearly playing the game. But now I'm genuinely questioning if she is actually delusional and she believes her delusion. Because for a good little minute, I really thought that Robyn was just, like, doing this on purpose. And now I think she maybe just isn't swift. I really do. Because there is no possible way on this earth that she thinks that Meri wants to live out there with them. I mean, Kody has literally told this woman, I do not want you. I don't. It's to the point where Meri, who herself was delusional for quite some time, is like, why would I want to be tied for eternity to someone who doesn't want me or doesn't love me? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how is Robyn getting to this conclusion? Now, the very interesting thing that I want to know more about, and I wish that somebody would, like, help me, like I think I need to look it up. Nobody needs to help me. I just need to look it up. But I'm very interested in, like, the spiritual contract, the spiritual marriage, because first and foremost, the fact that she was the one that was married to him legally and then he divorced. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just very interested to know more about that, because I feel like, if anything, Christine was the one who was just like, girl, anyway, I'm not doing that. Like, I feel like Christine is the one who would just be like, I'm just not married to you anymore. I don't know why, but I know that that's, like, a process that probably has to be gone through. And Meri is saying it's going to take a while. And I feel like that's delusional her end, because for some reason I feel like Meri still wants to be tied to this man. And I just feel sorry for her. But anyway, the whole situation with Coyote Pass, girl, burn it. Like, burn it. And I feel like Kody is the kind of person who now he doesn't necessarily want to be out there for sure, because he can't have that control over everyone. And so he's like, oh, it was our big family's dream and now we don't have our big family. And it's like, Kody, be for real. But before I need to skip around just a little bit, because there is one thing that I want to bring up in this delusion with Meri. Meri actually calls him out And my jaw dropped because she says that before they moved to Flagstaff, that Kody basically told her, I'll work things out with you. We're good. You know, like we're going to try to make this work. And she uses the phrase led her on. She actually says that he led her on. And then we switched to Kody, who's saying, I can understand where she would get mixed messages from, because I had intended to. And then when I started trying to rebuild the relationship, I was like, why would I do this? I wouldn't court or date her now. And my jaw, I still can't pick it up off the floor. Kody does not have any respect for these women, except Robyn, to the point where he doesn't care about saying these sort of things on TV where they're going to be able to hear. That's the thing about it, is he knows they're going to be able to hear these things, and he does not care. He said what he said, and he said it very boldly. When he said, why would I try? Why am I doing this? I was like, because she's your wife. What are you talking about, man? Or was, whatever. Because I'm telling you, my main issue with that statement is, again, it's very him-centered. It's like, I can see where she would get mixed messages from. No, just say, like, yeah, I unintentionally sent her mixed messages. That's all you had to say. But the way he's like, I can see where she would get it from. No, you see where she got it from because that's what you did. And then, not only that, but for you to go out of your way to say you wouldn't court or date her now. Do you know how embarrassing that is for that woman? How embarrassed she might feel hearing that? Do you know how it feels like she threw away 30 years of her life for a man who literally just said, I wouldn't court or date her now? Girl, be for real. I'm telling you, Kody makes decisions and he says things based on what he wants, and then he doesn't tell anybody else. That's the problem. He doesn't tell anyone that this is what he's feeling. He doesn't tell anyone that this is what he's thinking, and he thinks that they're just supposed to like automatically know. So then we go back to Robyn, and she's still talking about she goes to sleep every night and she sees her house over there, and then Janelle's and Meri's, and I did see Christine's, and then of course Kody's like, oh well, that ship is sailed. Shut up. Like, again, why are we doing this delusion with Robyn? I don't understand. And then you get Kody be like, oh, that ship sailed. We get it. We understand. Y'all are no longer together. You hate her. Move on. Please, sir, move on. Then they cut to Christine looking like a goddess. And my girl is like, I was so scared when I left Kody of being 50, halfway through life and single. And baby, the way my girl says she's just dating and enjoying life. And she said, I'm going to just leave it at that. I said, oh! Baby, Christine is up here getting it in, honey. Christine said, baby, I'm going out. I'm enjoying life. I'm doing what needs to be done. And I have to stand. I'm so glad that she is going after her own happiness. So Robyn and Kody are having a very interesting discussion. And so it's more the same, Robyn kind of like making herself act like a child. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. And she says she feels like the idiot who can't let it go. And she's obsessed with this idea that he can reconcile with Janelle, which, let's be for real here. Because Janelle says, like, no, when he wouldn't move heaven and earth to, like, have a good connection with our children, that was when I was done. So in this discussion that they're having, Kody says that he wonders if he had never suggested that they build one big house, if none of this would have happened, that maybe that was the catalyst for this realization, especially with me. Number one, Kody feels like because he knows some words, I think he likes to string words together to feel like he really knows what he's saying, and he likes to feel smart. But more than that, it's the way that he centers himself in it still. He wonders if his actions were what caused this. But then it's not actually that it caused it. It's that he might have been the catalyst for everyone realizing that things weren't good, especially himself. He was the one who had the major breakthrough that things weren't working. Kody, what are you talking about? You were perfectly fine. You were perfectly fine letting things go as they were because you had the love of your life in Robyn. And then you had your other three wives who you could bully up on. Let's be for real here. You're talking about you had this realization. You didn't, baby. You were perfectly fine letting things continue on. And the way that he tries to manipulate the situation, the way that he tries to go back and pretend like, oh, well, it could have. I'm telling you, that man is I don't even know the word. So then Kody says that he has some relationship with some of the children. So he's wrapped up in that, though. He says that he doesn't know where Meri fits into the family because he doesn't know where he fits into the family because he's been excommunicated. I don't understand what that means. I don't understand, number one, even if you feel excommunicated makes it seem like they kicked you out for whatever unknown reason. Like, you just have no idea. That's not what happened. You have set a horrible tone for your children and your relationship with them because you expect full control. You're used to the way that they were when they were 10 years old, and they're not 10 anymore. You can't control them. But to say that you don't know where Meri fits in because you don't know where you fit, don't put that on her. Don't put that on her, because Meri is the one, I feel like, who kind of has separated herself from the family. Because I feel like she wanted to be Robyn and Kody's like golden wife for so long that she put herself in a weird predicament. But anyway, that's kind of neither here nor there. This whole situation where he's telling Robyn, like, I feel like I'm dashing your dreams, but I still want to build. I still see the dream, but it's done. You know, it's over, man. And it's like, what are we even talking about? This whole situation is just like, it is so dramatic. And I understand that this is a huge life change. Let me say that. I understand fully that this is a huge life change. But the way that Kody is acting like he's writing a script for a dramatic novel is insane to watch. And it's actually kind of funny because you did this. You're the one who did this. It's not that you had some realization. It's not that you were lying to yourself. You treated these people, and by these people, I mean your other wives, and you treated your children horribly because that's the kind of person that you are. And now you're reaping what you sowed, and you don't know how to handle it. So now you're sitting here and trying to give these dramatic monologues. Baby, be for real. Be serious. Be serious. And baby, we got Meri clocked in. Meri was like, be effing for real with me. Be effing honest with me. Girl, baby, they got Robyn. They got that woman riled up. I said, oh my God, baby. Not Meri said, I'm going to earn this check. Meri said, I'm earning this check this season. But anyway, on to bigger and better things. So then we get to Christine. I have never heard of a baby sprinkle a day in my life, but according to Christine, when you have the first baby, it's a baby shower, but the second baby is a baby sprinkle. I ain't never heard of that. I feel like she just made that up. I feel like Christine made that up, and she wants us to go along with it. And you want to know what? I am going to go along with it. If my queen Christine wants me to believe that they call this a baby sprinkle and that everyone does that, then you know what? I'm going to accept it. I'm going to choose to go into that delusion. I want to live in that alternate universe where that is a thing. And I'm going to live there. You know what? I hope if somebody's listening to this and you're like, no, Galen, that's a real thing, then I deeply apologize. And I'm so sorry. But so we're having a baby sprinkle for McKelty, who's pregnant with twins. And I'm so happy. Christine is just living life. Christine is living her life. And I love the fact that she is living her life with her children. Like, her kids have moved on. Everyone is glowing. They seem happy. They seem like they are truly thriving in the fact that they can actually be happy without it being tied to Kody. And I know that's a big statement to make, but I feel like you can't, in that family, you couldn't really do anything without like Kody sort of being that dark cloud over it. So I'm very happy that they seem to be like Christine's face. She just lights up when she walks into a room. And I just love that for her. She looks so energized and youthful. And oh God, I love that for her. So we're going through the baby sprinkle that is gambling themed, and Christine tells us that the theme is double down, which is apparently something you do when you play blackjack. Girl, you never played blackjack a day in your life. I don't know why I feel like Christine has never played blackjack, but you know what? If again, it's just like with her baby sprinkle. If that's what she is gonna tell me, that I'm gonna believe it, because because if Christine is going to go out of her way to tell me, and I feel like that is a real term, but it just is so funny that she didn't go into like what it means. She's just like, it's a term when you play blackjack. That doesn't have any bearing on the episode. It's just fun, and it's just I just love that it has that theme. McKelty is like, I think she said 30 weeks pregnant, and girl, they only got another month until they meet their goal. I was going to say their quota, but I mean, they can have babies seem like any day at that point. Like, after she hits that point, that 35-week point or 34-week point, that basically, I mean, she can have kids any day. So we'll see what happens. And I love Christine because she's very shady. And she tries to be shady, but I think she also doesn't try to be shady. I think she's just honest. But the honesty comes out as shade, and I live for it. Because she was like, Janelle was definitely invited. She was like, there's a lot of people that are coming. Janelle was definitely invited, but she's not going to be able to make it. Meri was not invited. Baby, my little gay heart lived when she said that, because it was just so matter of fact. It was point blank. And the way she looked, like she said, I don't know what else to tell you after that. And girl, when that lady said Meri was not invited, it's not, I don't think she didn't mean it in a malicious way. It just, honest to God, was funny, because when she said, I was like, get a girl. Get a girl. And then Meri says that she hasn't told Christine or Janelle that that she had the breakup conversation with Kody. And she's like, I just don't really feel the need to. Okay. I mean, congratulations. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, great. You don't feel the need to. And they didn't feel the need to invite you to the baby shower. So we all felt something. Y'all, so Christine tells us that Kody and Robyn are invited to the sprinkle because McKelty wants them there. And you may be asking yourself, why is he laughing so hard at this? Because they show the flashback to what is my favorite scene of Sister Wives, with Kody going right in the kidney. The years of sacrifice that I've made wasted. And it's like, Kody is given the performance of a lifetime. Kody is given the performance of a lifetime. And Christine is just sitting there looking at him like, okay. That scene is so funny to me, because y'all know I love saying right in the kidney. Because what would make you say that? Like, I mean, this man I think he was performing. I don't even think he meant what he was saying. I genuinely think it was an act. I actually truly think that he had gone to an acting class and he wanted to put those chops to the test. Because number one, what do you mean the sacrifices that you've made to love me? Boy, bye. And I'm telling you, it's the wasted that just it just does it for me. And I love when Christine talks about these things because she doesn't giggle necessarily, but it's like it's like she's so entertained by it that she almost giggles. It's like she almost giggles at how ludicrous it is and how ridiculous it is. And I'm so sorry. Y'all, I'm telling you, I be so tickled. And then Christine says, maybe we should take bets on whether we're all gonna get along or not. I'm telling y'all, Christine is so entertained. And it's like, you get Kody and the dramatic music of like, oh, it's so embarrassing to me, Meri. And he doesn't say Meri's name, but for some reason, I just feel like I have to put Meri on the end of everything. But he's like, it's so embarrassing to me, and I'm sorry I feel this way. And then you get Christine being like, maybe we should take bets. So Robyn says that the last time she saw Christine was when Christine told her that she didn't want a relationship with her and her kids. And I just want to go back and watch that to see if that's actually what she said, because I feel like for some reason she's oversimplifying what Christine said. Like, she's 2 steps away from it. Like, yeah, when she told me that she hated me and my kids, and it's like, girl, shut up. Like, that's what it sounded like she wanted to say, but she just kind of couldn't. I don't know. And I love the fact that Kody says that he and Robyn hope that the environment is warm and friendly. Because you know what he's trying to say. You know he's trying to insinuate that because their divorce, quote unquote, wasn't amicable, that Christine would not be warm and welcoming and whatever else. And he low-key is trying to perpetuate this little story that Christine has alienated him from everybody. So let me pose this question. If Christine has alienated you from everybody, then why did Mykelti want you at her baby sprinkle? So if Christine has alienated you from everybody, including your children, then why did Mykelti want you at the baby sprinkle? You know what? That might have been production. Production might have been like, girl, we got to get some airtime. We got to make some drama. So Kody has to be at the sprinkle. I'm sorry. And you know what? Even though Robyn and Christine sort of say the same thing, they frame it completely differently to me. So Robyn says that she's not going to say hi to Christine because the last time she saw her, she said she didn't want a relationship with her. But she also then goes on to say that she would love to have any relationship that she can, but it takes 2. So basically, to me, the way I interpret that is, you know, I'm not going to push because she did say she's not going to push herself on her, which I can respect that part. But then you follow it up by saying it takes 2. So now we're putting that blame on Christine to say like, well, I can't make you do anything and I can only meet you halfway. You know what I mean? Like, there's that tone to it, that it takes 2 to tango. But then you have Christine saying, and I live and I stand, that if she did say hello and she tried to act friendly, it would be disingenuous. She wouldn't be real. It would be a lie. And I appreciate and respect the fact that she's not trying to go out of her way just to keep the peace. Because that's what she did for decades, was try to keep the peace. For decades, she put her own feelings to the side so that she could try to make everyone else feel comfortable. And now she's at a place where she's like, you know what? Nope, this ain't. And I love the fact that she even says, this is not about me. This is about Mykelti. And those 2 different viewpoints of Christine saying, this is not about me, this is about Mykelti, I'm not going to sit here and try to fake with these people, whatever else. That is completely juxtaposed to Robyn being like, it takes 2 to tango. Girl, you see what I'm saying? Like, even the way they approach situations and they approach life is completely different. So what I do want to address too is the fact that Kody and Robyn say that this is probably the worst that they've ever been in their marriage, right? Now we're trying to spin this narrative that Kody is so afraid of rejection because he's been rejected and he doesn't know who to blame. And so Robyn is really having to stay on her toes to make sure that he knows that she's in it with him. I'm sorry, but let's be for real here. Let's take one quick second and be all the way for real. That man knows Robyn is not going anywhere. Robyn knows she's not going anywhere. And I think that all of that is a ploy to try to put it off on somebody else. The fact that he's a jerk, the fact that he whatever. I feel like this is their way of trying to be like, well, it's not really him. This isn't really typically how he acts. It's actually just, and it's like, no, this is Kody. He did this to himself. He didn't get rejected. They chose their happiness over the dysfunction that they had with him. And I hate this way that they're trying to victimize him and say that he doesn't know how to operate in the fact that he's going through these divorces. Because that's how Robyn says divorces. The divorces. And it's just, I don't know. There's something so uncomfortable to watch about it. Where it's like, he's still trying to victimize himself. She's trying to help victimize him. And meanwhile, these women are like literally out here thriving. I don't know what Meri has going on, but these women are out here thriving. You truly are the idiot that got left behind. Girl, be for real. And then, here's my favorite part probably of the whole thing. Kody says that he respects Robyn so much and that he wants to believe her and believe that she truly does love him and that she won't leave. But there's 3 other women who have really, they abandoned him essentially. And he can't tell. I want y'all to receive what this man says. Kody says that he cannot tell himself that he loves himself. He can't look in the mirror and say, I love you, because of what these women have put him through. When he goes to God, he feels like he can't go to God and say, help me through this. He says he does go to God to help him, to ask for help, but it's not the same prayer that it used to be. I want y'all to think about the implication of those statements. This man is saying that Christine, Janelle, and Meri are the reasons that he can't love himself and that he cannot talk to God in the same way that he used to. Girl, that is manipulation 101, if I have ever heard it a day in my life. Let's be serious here. Let's be serious here. That is manipulation. That's manipulation. And my mind is just blown at the drama. I know that he wrote that out. That is one thing I feel like he sat down and he wrote out. Like, the kidney thing, I feel like was probably improv. This, I feel like he wrote out. And he was like, at some point this season, I'm going to say this. And I think that was the moment. Because, what? Oh, but there is another important part that I think is hilarious. So, at one point, Mykelti is talking to Christine and somebody else. I don't know who else. And so Robyn is standing outside. And then Kody comes up next to Mykelti. And he doesn't say anything to her. He never says anything to Mykelti. I don't know if someone called him to come over there. I will say that. I don't know if someone called him to come over there. But, like, literally, he just comes and stands next to her while she's talking to Christine, right? So Christine just keeps talking. Christine acts like he's not even there. And it really is funny watching these people ignore each other. It really is. Because you can this was the scene that made me realize Christine is ignoring them. they are the ones that I feel like, especially Kody, wants to be acknowledged. And I think that he wants Christine to feel awkward, but I also feel like he wants Christine to acknowledge him. So he comes and he stands by Mykelti, right? Like, he's just standing there like a creep. And Christina's just talking, like literally ignoring him. And he's like twiddling with things. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Christine. Don't give him any attention. Don't give him anything. And then Christine in her confessional says that she realizes that this is more awkward for them because they're the outsiders, not her. And I was like, that's true. That's very true. And then you get Kody's confessional where he's like, I don't even want to talk to her. I don't even want to see her. Well, but you went and stood in her line of sight? That doesn't make any sense, Kody. Kody, the lies are not adding up, babe. The lies are not adding up. So within that lie, this is the funny part. So he and Robyn go over where Christine previously was standing, right? And they're sitting there. He like grabs Robyn and he's like holding her and whatever. And Christine is just like, okay. It's actually funny to see. Like, it's really funny and it's sad. So then he goes into how Christine and Janelle have been berating him when he says they used to sing my praises and now they loathe me. And I was like, do you not hear how that sounds? Like, you sound like a maniac. You sound like a cult leader who no longer has his cult. So he's talking about how that's affected his love of self and how if they're talking about him like that in public, then what are they saying to his children? And it's like, what are you talking about? Again, Mykelti wanted you there because she wanted her father there. Your children greeted you when you came in. And I know that greeting is a very small thing. I know that. I know that that's something that isn't a huge indicator of, a relationship with somebody, because anybody can greet anybody. But my point is that if they really were that, like, turned away from you, they would have just been like, oh yeah, he's here, and it moved on. But no, you were welcomed in by your children. He is trying so hard to make this a Christine hate train that I don't think that he realizes how dumb he sounds. Like, he doesn't even sound like he knows what he's talking about at this point because he's trying so hard to spin a narrative. Even Robyn is like, I don't think that she's doing that. Like, she's like, he's convinced that this is happening, but I don't think that's going on. And so I don't know. But you know what? Kody puts the acting chops back on. He has to put the acting chops back on. And he tells us how he is standing there with his heart broken at this party. And he's having to pretend like everything is okay. And then he tells us that this is like the fall of Camelot or whatever. Like, he literally brings up Camelot. And is like, watching all your dreams crumble away. Kody, hush. Kody, hush. Baby, whatever acting class he took, he said it's going to pay off. It is going to pay off. He said, I am going to see a return and someone is going to sign me up for a show. And it's not going to be a reality TV show. Kody said, I am going to be on someone's half-hour sitcom. Or, you know what? Maybe he's trying out for Bold and Beautiful. I think he would be great in Bold and Beautiful. Because, my God, today. So we then get Meri talking to some of her friends. And her friend is basically like, girl, does Kody know that you're done? That was shade, but it also was, I think, her way of being like, thank God, it's finally over. The real thing that comes to me after that is we get Maddie and Janelle is talking about how, like, Maddie hasn't talked to her father. He hasn't reached out to her. She hasn't reached out to him. And they go to ask Kody about her. And he says, I won't talk about her. And that's it. This man, girl. And after we find out that Janelle is actually thinking of moving with Maddie, or at least, moving, we switch to Kody saying that they know that he has fear of missing out. FOMO, as he calls it. And that anything they can do to exclude him, they're going to do so they can hurt him. This man is just ridiculous. I mean, anything he can do to make himself the victim is really crazy, because one thing they said was that Maddie doesn't want to talk to him unless he can commit to actually being in her life, which I think is reasonable. And Robyn, I feel like Robyn kind of was like saying like, yeah, he needs to be reaching out. But then she also says it should be on the kids too. No, it shouldn't. They're his children. It shouldn't be on them to reach out to him or to make him act like a parent. That is so ridiculous to me. And Kody is such a gaslighter, and I just can't. And when we go back to Meri is talking about how she had the conversation with Kody. He was alluding to never loving her. And she asks a very good question. You were single and I was single when we met. Why would you commit to loving me or to marrying me and then say that you just were reaffirming that you loved me, but you're not actually sure if you did? I feel sorry for her. In this moment, I truly feel sorry for Meri. A baby. But then he turns around and he says that like, oh, Meri can say whatever she wants. I'm not feeding into it. I'm not going to respond to it, whatever. So Meri read, like literally read everybody. She was like, if that's what he has to tell himself when he and I are the ones that started this family, that's fine. Because what? Robyn was 10 when we got married. And I was like, oh, I've never thought about that before. That Robyn was so young when they got met. Well, supposedly, because they say she was like 30 when they met, which, girl, anyway. But I've never thought about that before. She really was that young, supposedly, when these people got married. Girl, when Meri said that, you could have bought me for $1. And we're still playing this game with Robyn where like, she just doesn't know how to wrap her head around it. Like, she just can't figure out what to do, how to feel, anything like that. This doesn't feel like real life. And even Christine is like, girl, let Meri go. Let Meri live. Stop trying to bring her back into this foolishness. And I do love that Meri's friend is calling it out and just being like, yeah, he's been like this, the whole time I've known him. But he at least used to be nicer. Girl, my God, today. I do like that Meri calls out the fact that she feels Kody was pushing her so that she would be the one to leave and he could keep his name clear. Like, he could still be the good guy. They were the ones that left, not him. And he's like pretty much corroborates that, because at one point he's like, oh, they had the option to leave. I didn't. Kody, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. I really do like Meri's friend. And what I will say, even though I have such mixed feelings about Meri herself, I do like the fact that Meri has a friend who is willing to listen to her, but then I think is also willing to keep her grounded in reality, because Meri is coping, I think, the best way that she knows how, which is to almost be in delusion and be like, oh, I'm not going to say anything bad about him and I'm not going to talk bad about him. And her friend is like, well, I will, because I think it's realistic. No one is asking you to get online or to get on TV and bash this man, whatever else. Because I think she's feeling a lot. I really enjoyed her observation about the 32 years worth of relationship that they had, for good or bad. And how she has all these pictures and ornaments and things that her grandmother would send her. And like, what does she do with those memories? What does she do with that? I really enjoy that part of the conversation because it's real. It's something that I think people really struggle with. When I can imagine when you have like a long-term relationship that dissolves, what do you do with those kinds of things that mean something, that maybe your grandparent who's no longer here, they made these things for you as a keepsake and a memento, and you don't have that anymore. So what do you do with that? And I enjoyed that part of their discussion. But then you get Meri, like I said, you cut in Meri being like, I'm not going to talk bad about him and I'm not going to bash him, and Robyn has a good heart and things like that. And you have her friend saying like, girl, just be angry. Like, it's okay to be angry. Like I said, no one is asking her to bash him, but I think there's a different, you can tell she's upset about the things that he did, but I think she doesn't want to come off as like the jealous ex or like the upset ex who's angry at, not being loved, things like that. I think that she's thinking very heavily on how she's going to be perceived. And what I really want for Meri is just to be angry. Kody is a jerk. But I also feel like the other part of that is that she spent decades trying to appease Kody. She spent decades with Kody suppressing her and trying to make her feel like her feelings weren't valid. She spent that time in that. And so now what we're seeing is the result of that. I mean, like she keeps emphasizing 32 years. That is 32 years of her life that she has been Kody's wife in some shape, form, or fashion. Like she said, even after they got legally divorced, she still had the spiritual marriage. So she's been his wife for 32 years. You can't just turn that off. And do I think that she has some secret hope that they could still work out? I can't say. I don't know. I don't know Meri like that. But I do think that she's trying to still respect their family and what shards or pieces are left of it. Meanwhile, you got Kody basically just like refusing to talk about her, refusing to talk about it, just refusing. Everything Kody does is to victimize himself. Oh, well, I'm just going to let her talk about me and I'm not going to say anything in response. Kody, what are you talking about? It's the same thing with Maddie. He's not going to say anything about Maddie. He's not even going to talk about her. You're punishing her. You are accusing them of keeping you out of these milestones in their family's life. But then you won't even talk about Maddie. You're keeping that attention away from her as a way to punish her. And that right there, any redeeming whatever that Kody might ever come up with, that specific thing, no. Nope. Because I cannot handle someone trying to withhold attention as a form of punishment. That's where I like everything that he does is across the line, but that to me shows the depths that he's willing to go to do that to his own child. Like, it'd be different. It's not different. It's really not different. It's the same kind of thing to do that to like one of his wives or ex-wives. But to do that to your child, I think you just have to go to a new level of just disgustingness to be able to do that to your own daughter. So this episode was juicy. I feel like this was a good introduction. I feel like I could see someone maybe saying this wasn't the most exciting episode, but to me, I think we got a lot of good exposition on where they are. Like, we got a lot of good context clues on where they are in life. And I love the fact that Christine called it out and was like, I just don't think that they're going to get their fair share of the land. I really don't, because she said she knows how Kody is. And she said that she just hopes that they get that, and she just wants to be free. She just wanted to be done. Can you imagine signing over that big of a chunk of land and just being like, girl, I'm done. I'm good. I think that just goes to show Christine wanted, when she said she wanted that clean break and she just took the money from the house and she let it go. I think that was her. That was us getting that realization in her life that some things are not worth holding on to. Sometimes it's just not. And I think it was very telling that in that moment, he chose to say that she sold the house that the family basically bought her. So to him, again, it's him still owning her. Like, even her new life where she is free and single and unencumbered, even that to him is built on what he was able to provide, what the family was able to provide. And I'm just so glad that Christine is free of that. Oh my God, I'm so glad that Christine is free. I'm so happy for her that she is able to move on and find happiness. And I hope that Janelle is able to find what her happiness looks like. Even Meri makes me want to fight her in the street sometimes, but I genuinely hope that she finds that happiness. So episode 1 was really good. So let me know what you thought about it in the comments, or I don't know. I say in the comments. Let me know what you think. Find me somewhere. You can find me on Patreon at Power of G. If you want to keep up with everything else that we have going on, you can go follow my TikTok, Real Life with G, where I'm going to be talking about Sister Wives, but I'm also talking about Drag Race and some other things. And you can find me on YouTube at Real Life with G, but also they call me Mr. G. So I will see y'all later. And I hope y'all have a great rest of the day or morning or afternoon or whatever it is, wherever you are. Bye.